Breaking news coming in this hour. The Canada Industrial Relations Board has ordered thousands of railway employees back to work amid the contract dispute that shut down freight trains across the country. The board is imposing binding arbitration on Canadian National, Canadian Pacific Kansas City and the Teamsters, the union. The union had issued a strike notice against CN Rail for Monday, but CPKC workers were locked out and on strike. But now the board has made its ruling. The union says it will abide by the decision, but will appeal the ruling to the federal court. And CTV's Jeremie Charron is tracking the story for us from Ottawa. Jeremie, good to see you this evening. Finally, the decision is out from the CIRB. Tell us more.
Yeah, actually, we don't know much right now. The decision really just made minutes ago, but this is certainly the decision many were waiting for. Canadians were watching closely as this strike, lockout, work stoppage had a massive impact on Canadians across the country. The supply chain was impacted. The economy was impacted. Everybody was waiting for this decision, kind of left in limbo heading into this weekend, waiting for the Labour Board to decide whether it would side with the Minister of Labour in issuing this order to, one, force workers back to work, but also to force on them final binding arbitration. What we know is that the board has sided with the Minister of Labour and is forcing workers back to work and will be forcing binding arbitration. Timelines are still unclear at this point. We don't know exactly what this means in terms of when workers will be back, but it does mean that the board has sided with the Minister of Labour. There was a lot of talk about whether or not this order by the Minister of Labour would be successful. As you mentioned, we know that Teamsters has said they will be challenging the constitutionality of this order and certain aspects of it. They have said that they will adhere to the decision by the CIRB, the Labour Relations Board, but that it will be challenging certain aspects in federal court. We've received a statement from the union, and I want to read it to you in part. They say that this decision by the CIRB sets a dangerous precedent. It signals to corporate Canada that large companies need only stop their operations for a few hours, inflict short-term economic pain, and the federal government will step in to break a union. The rights of Canadian workers have been significantly diminished today. That is a direct quote from Paul Boucher, president of the Teamsters Canada Rail Conference. And so, we're just getting reaction as this happens right now, Akshay. But certainly, this is a significant move by the board to side with the federal government, stepping in here to force workers back, to force binding arbitration. It is a relief for, some industry leaders, industry groups that have been calling for the federal government to step in, who have been speaking about the impacts here. We've heard from, several different sectors in the economy, specifically the Grain Farmers Association of Canada, that said that this was costing them tens of millions of dollars a day. We've heard, a lot of talk about the impacts on the economy, hundreds of millions of dollars. Between CN and CPKC, they were hauling $1 billion worth of product a day on the railways. And so, this was a significant work stoppage that had a massive impact on the supply chain, on the economy, and it was going to get worse and worse as things went on here. And you talked about the fact that what we were seeing prior to this announcement was that work had not continued at CPKC because the union continued to strike, had set up a picket line, and made it clear that they were going to be challenging the federal government's orders. When it came to CN, some trains started rolling again after the federal government stepped in. And so as of Friday, we started to see some movement again. But the union representing workers on Friday morning issued a 72-hour strike notice. So not much was going to be able to get up and running again prior to a Monday deadline where the union had threatened to start strike action, walk off the job. So this kind of solves all of that. There are still many questions as to how soon really they'll get back to work and what kind of role the fact that Teamsters will be challenging this in court will play. It's not immediately clear, Akshay,
right,
whether that, delays things or what kind of a role that plays. The union has said it will adhere to this order, but they're also going to be challenging it in court. So that really complicates things.
Yeah, Jeremy, if I could jump in, because while you're telling us all this information that's coming in, I'm going through the statement that has been released by the CIRB, and I'm going to just pick up a few points from what that statement says. The statement reads, therefore, in accordance with the ministerial direction, the board makes the following orders. Order number 1 being CPKC is directed to resume rail service operations and employees as directed by the CIRB. Point number 2, it says, and this is important to note because we know that, Jeremy, there have been issues that Teamsters has been raising when it comes to weakening of protections around rest periods of the railway employees, their shift lengths, scheduling, saying, and the argument is that all of that is actually jeopardizing the safety, the workers' safety. So now the CIRB saying in this point that the term of the collective agreements between CPKC and the TCRC that expired on December 31st, 2023, we know that the union and the companies have been negotiating for 9 long months. So now the board is saying that these have to be extended to include the period beginning of January 2024 and ending on the day on which new collective agreements between the parties come to an effect. So that is an important point to note, that all that Teamsters was arguing right now, those arguments do not hold weight at the moment. They will have to continue with the previous agreement that expired on December 31st, 2023. I just wanted to bring that in for our viewers wondering, how is this all going to work till, of course, the parties come to a new agreement, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's an important distinction, Akshay, because to your point, the prior contract had expired. And of course, the union and the employers had been in negotiations to get a new contract done. And so what this means, and this was at the request of the federal government, this was part of the request that the labor minister made, was to have them return to work on the basis of that prior agreement. And so putting it in writing here is the CIRB and making sure that both sides have to adhere to the prior collective agreement until through binding arbitration, they agree to a new collective agreement.
Right.
So certainly that is an important distinction as we
there is more.
See what happens here. Yeah. So much is up in the air because we really don't know what kind of impact, rather, the fact that the union is going to be challenging this in court will have, and whether that inhibits, the ability to get things moving faster. Certainly it will complicate things, but in the meantime, it sounds like the union will be adhering to the orders until, a court can rule on this as well.
Indeed. And just a quick tip as well, where we're learning the parties are being directed to attend a case management meeting with the board on 29th of August at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's also something to keep in mind. There is another meeting that's scheduled for August 29th when they all come together and have a discussion on the implementation of the arbitration process. Jeremy, I'll leave it at that with you. Of course, you have a lot of paperwork to go through and bring us more information on this big story. But for the moment, Jeremy, Charron from Ottawa, appreciate the update, Jeremy. Thank you.
Absolutely, Akshay, anytime.